Well, welcome, YouTube friends and family, to a soggy edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So it's a little after 5, but I wanted to show you, I had a total of 5.72 inches of rain, and it says month, but this was all the same front that came consistently day after day after day. Still a slight chance of rain today, but it looks like it's going to be clearing. Everything is really waterlogged. Tuesday, YouTube friends and family. I am praying for all of you that have been affected by Helene, the hurricane, especially North Carolina, unexpected flooding. And then a lot of people in my area have power loss because of the high winds we had one night. I thankfully just have a lot of leaves down. Everything else is fine. But I have a cute little story to tell you. I hope everything's okay. So girl doesn't sleep. I went outside like around 3:30, 4 o'clock with my flashlight, check on the chickens, give them food, water, all of that. And I couldn't find the baby. I couldn't find a baby anywhere. So I was freaking out thinking somehow she got out or something ate her. Wouldn't know how. Well, I found her sitting in the baby pool. She loves that little baby pool that's full of sand for dust bathing. Well, with all of the rain and the direction the rain came, it's like this much water on top of the sand. I think she was stuck in there. So she was in there. So I got her out and kind of helped her dry off a little bit, and I put her to bed. So hopefully she's fine. I'm very thankful because I never go out at 3:30 virtually ever to do chicken chores, but I was awake and something just told me, go check. Thank you, Lord. So what are we going to talk about today? You all know that I am not a gloom and doom person. I really am not. I try to do what I can to prepare for unusual events, but I don't dwell on it, and I certainly don't live in fear. And this video, while a little different than some of the ones that I've done, I do want to talk to you about it because I've been reading up and educating myself. Yes, I took some notes about the potential port strike that is going to happen as of the day you're watching this. So October 1. Can you believe Tuesday's October 1? Or it's October 1? Y'all, I'm filming this on Monday, right? Got a little behind over the weekend. So before we get into all of those points and how it might affect us and what it will mean maybe to your buying habits, I want to show you a little bit of my building sets. So hang on. Y'all, my shoulder's still a mess, but it stayed in the socket. It's just very, very sore. So I have to be careful how I lift. So Fun Hole just had their 2nd anniversary. So they're a relatively new company, but this is what I'm going to build. I love the fall leaves, and it's called a mountain cabin. And as you see, it has some figurines down here. I kind of took a break from building just because I was busy with, other things. Pull up my bridges. So a couple of you have asked, and one person in particular, and I apologize, I can't remember your name. Y'all, I can tell you what my phone number has been my entire life, like, through moving and everything. I have a mental block on names, and I think y'all know that by now. Right, Michelle? If you're here. But at any rate, so what comes with are the instruction books. Now, this one has 2,255 pieces. So it actually has a book 1 and a book 2. It also comes with a little orange box like this, as well as a little card. So you want to hunt for those 2 things when you open it. Very easy to find. I'm probably going to have to get this scissors. Oh, speaking of. Okay. So what is in this box is the light kit. So it will have the battery pack. It always comes with a pair of tweezers, you know, like if you put something in wrong, which I often do, and you have to pick it apart, saves your hands quite a bit. I have like 15 of those now. Then it also comes with, I do not use this, y'all. So you're supposed to slide this part under the brick and pop it off. I don't find that it works, so I usually just throw this away. And if there are decals, they're usually inside here. The other thing that you will find often inside here, y'all just make me go get some glasses. I gotta get my eyes checked, man. I've been trying to wait till my sugar level's out because that can impact your prescription. But if there are no stick-ons, and the newer ones, they seem to be already adhered to the pieces, it's a warranty card. So let's say you're missing a, pardon me, important piece. You scan the QR code. It will ask you for your order number, your order source, and y'all, they send it to you free. Have I had to order parts? Yes. I've probably built about a dozen of these now. Some I've gifted, and I think I've had to ask for parts 3 times. So it happens, whether it's me overlooking a part or whether, you know, it actually wasn't in there. So when you get your box, I'll show you this too, and then we'll start talking about the port. Oh. It has individual bags, and the bags, as you see, are numbered. So I've pulled out all the number 1s, and it helps, in my opinion, to have like a bowl or a plate or something so that you can spread them out and see. It will go through the basic instructions of how the light kit works. Sometimes I hook up the light kit, sometimes I don't. It depends on how much it's going to add to the piece and how difficult it is to get it together, because I find it difficult. They also have F packs, and usually they're the people. So the first part of the book will explain how to use the light kit. The second part is the F pack. And then you will get into the actual build. So it will show you, here's what you need. You need 1, you need an F, and you need a 1 out of the electrical kit. And this is what your build will look like for this section. And it goes piece by piece, guys. It tells you you need these pieces. This is how you put it together. So I find it so relaxing. I don't know why. Maybe because I can actually sit. But anyway, let's talk a little bit as I need to grab a couple things out of the box here. But let's talk a little bit about the potential port strike. Now, by the time you watch this, you may be like, well, what do they do with the F's? I sorted it on the floor, but, oh, here we go. Here they are. So, you'll have a few that are labeled like this, couple packs, and it will have extra pieces in it that are specific to help you protect the wires. So as you're snapping the build together, you don't break a wire. Have I ever broken a wire? Well, yeah, yes, I have. But they will send replacements. And then sometimes the great big pieces will be in a separate bag that isn't labeled, which is the case here. So if you've been watching the news, or even if you haven't, how did I lose my scissors? Come over here. There is a potential for 36 North American ports to be closing due to this issue. I'm sorry, going on strike. Let's not say closing. So the big deal about this is they're not closing one at a time. It's all part of the same union. So if we have 36 ports closed, that's 45,000 union workers who are going to be on strike pay if you get that I don't know, because I've never been union. I've always been management, so it couldn't be union. And Biden has specifically said he is not going to intervene. He's not going to interfere. So they've been negotiating since June. The reason that I feel this might be a thing is because of what their demands are and the fact that the union is way far apart from the company that controls the shipping. I don't know that they'll be able to negotiate. They've had August 4 months and they haven't done it. So it's the ILA union. I can't tell you what it stands for because I didn't write it out. And they're accusing USMX for offering them insulting pay and being unwilling to have commitments on automation. So when I was first looking into this, I'm like, well, they want their job to be easier for less money. That is not the case on automation, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the future here. So this would be the first strike of its sort since 1977. So I was like, what was I doing in 1977? Well, I was a junior in high school. So just starting my junior year. So, you know, that's been a lot of years ago, and I was not really a consumer then, nor was I really focused on world events. You know, I was a teenager, come on. I was interested in cheerleading and new clothes. So what is the ultimate cost of this? Well, the cost, they're saying, is up to $5 billion a day. How that can be, I don't know, but it is 36 ports, and it's, you know, things that are being imported from other countries that maybe we have trade agreements or purchase agreements with, and it's going to impact several retailers, which I'll share with you in a moment. And I just don't see it's $5 billion a day, but maybe it is. So their beef, if you will, is actually automation at the ports. So they say that is replacing union labor. Okay. Now, y'all, I can be super sarcastic, so I hope you will take this with a grain of salt. So do you all remember going to Blockbuster Video and renting VHS tapes? Yeah. And then we have pay TV, pay-per-view, subscription channels, cable channels. There's virtually nothing that you can't get on the TV, even if you have to pay for it. And people quit going to Blockbuster. And then the VHS tapes were out of vogue. So now it's automated. The consumer goes out, chooses what they want to watch. And we don't go to the store and rent VHS tapes anymore, right? And there's a lot of things, if you think about it, in our lives. No one almost has a home telephone, like a landline, because now we have cell phones. There's no long distance charges. You can call anywhere in the US, I'm in the US, without having to pay. And we don't have to worry about repairing the home line. Does our answering machine work? All of that is now built into cell phones. So my point to all this is, you know what? Times they are changing. And while automation may cause loss of some jobs, it might be best for the US as a whole, because automation, not paying someone, I mean, the equipment is at a cost and the repairs and maintenance is at a cost, but it may ultimately make things a little more affordable for those of us who use imports. And y'all, I try to buy in the US, but let me tell you what, everything comes from China. Just saying, China. All right. So what are they asking for besides they want increased wages? And this blows my mind. They want $5 more an hour, which is a 9.98% increase. You might as well say 10% increase. Okay, I know inflation is more than 10%. I know that. But if you look at the government figures, it's between 2 and 3%, closer to 3. If you are a Medicare and Social Security recipient, that would be me, we'll get 2.5 or something like that. We can't go to the government and say, well, we think because the cost of living is up, we want a 10% increase. No, it's not going to happen. So because they're so far apart on their negotiations and they have not wavered from that amount, I don't have high hopes that we won't have a strike. The other thing they're asking for is a better healthcare or improved healthcare. I think we all need that, you know. Y'all, I have a very good Medicare plan and they still deny half of what I need, and it's very, very frustrating. I've just gone to the doctor and she wanted me to wear one of those sensors that is a continuous glucose monitor. It's $147, about $148 for a 2-week supply, one sensor, so $300 a month. Medicare's like, oh no, you need to stick your finger. Whatever. The other thing, they don't want any automated or semi-automated terminals at the port. So I guess they did one in, I don't want to say it wrong, South. And the workers are claiming that this automation is threatening their job. So who is it going to affect? Is it really anything that we need to be concerned about? Well, yes and no. I don't think it's going to be the debacle that we've had with the pandemic, but I do think there are certain things that are going to be affected if the strike goes on, and I think it will, that may make it difficult for us to purchase certain things. So I found a website that I really like to use. It's called foodlogistics.com. And it kind of takes a global look at what's going on. So crop failures, drought, floods, shipping issues, whatever the case might be. And it will tell you what is likely to be low in supply or high in price. So who is it going to affect? Y'all, this blew my mind. Walmart, Home Depot, IKEA, Samsung, LG, Dollar General, Amazon, and pharmaceuticals. Now, I read one article that said they'll just fly in the pharmaceuticals. I don't know if that's the case or not, but when you look at all of the products, when you think about Amazon and Walmart, which are two big areas of, widespread offering, they have a lot of different products. This could really be problematic for us. It's also going to affect the automakers. So they said that if they only strike for a week, it will push all the deliveries that would be coming into port out to December or early January. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but we all know what happens in December. Well, we buy things, we buy gifts, we buy presents. Sometimes we buy things for ourselves because it's Black Friday or there's a good sale. It could really change the face of Black Friday. So what do I think is going to be impacted when I look at things like Home Depot? I saw furnishings, appliances. I'm really glad I got a new microwave and a new fridge this year. We could see the deep freezer shortage like we saw with the pandemic. Also toys. Now I don't shop at Home Depot. Well, I don't shop for toys, but if I had to, I'd probably go to Walmart, But they said toys are imported, and that would be another thing that would be delayed or in short supply. So I thought, why don't they just divert it to the West Coast? Well, the West Coast ports are also union, so they will block anything. This is what the article said, and y'all can go read it for yourself. So that's not going to be the solution, and we all know that ports get overloaded. We've seen it before where there's been hundreds of ships sitting in port with things spoiling. So some other products that could be impacted are cars, cocoa and chocolate, alcohol, fruit, specifically bananas and cherries, and seafood. So my recommendation is don't panic buy. But if you have an appliance you've been meaning to replace, I would go ahead and do it. If you like to make banana bread through the winter, go get some bananas now before the strike and let them ripen, smash them out, put them in a bag and put them in the freezer. You know, I think about holiday baking. Many of us use, you know, the glacy cherries or some form of chocolate, may be difficult to get. So that's why I'm always telling you all, you know, buy a couple, one to use now, one to have on the shelf so that you're never out of stock. Now, I don't suggest you go panic buy. There's no word on toilet tissue. Thank God. But ever since COVID, I make sure I have plenty. So, ooh, I said the C word. It's okay. So I hope that's helpful for you. I am not trying to incite any sort of panic. I don't think this is a panic situation, but I think if they stay on strike for quite some time, there is going to be a trickle-down effect to us consumers, which means, you know, shipping delays or unavailability of product or shortages, and it's going to cause costs to rise, because we need that. So why the president doesn't want to be involved, I can't really speak to that. Yeah, I mean, it might be that he's a lame duck on his way out, and I hate to say that about our president, but, you know, that's kind of a stereotypical description of a president who isn't rerunning, who's at the end of their term. So I just hope and pray, and I hope you'll join me in prayer that these shipping ports don't close down, that they can come up with some kind of a reasonable solution. While I understand their demands about healthcare and even about price, what really bothers me is that they don't want any automation. They want to hold on to the old ways, and I don't think necessarily all the old ways are the best ways, and I think that's a little bit unrealistic. So I don't know what's going to happen. None of us know what's going to happen. I would say just be alert, listen to the news, or if you're like me, read your news. I don't listen because it gives me anxiety. And build your Legos and have a good day. So I plan to see you a little later this week. Y'all, it's October now that you're watching this, and so I am going to be doing sort of a Croctober. I'm not part of a collab, but I will be cooking some home style foods that will be really yum in the crock pot for those chilly days ahead. They are coming. It's not chilly here yet. I'm still using some AC. It's been extraordinarily humid and extraordinarily soggy. So I hope you all are safe from the effects of Helene. So I will see you all a little bit later this week, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.